Welcome back to the channel. I am beyond tired. If you have already watched my episode of The Wild Robot today, you will have seen that I was yawning a lot. And just talking about yawning makes me want to yawn. I'm going to try really hard not to for this video. Try to keep the energy up. It's hard because Mr. Keller is just nearby me, as well as Stella under me, under the table. Both are asleep. I'm very tired. It is almost 2 a.m. here. I do not recommend that you stay up until 2 a.m. Okay. It's not healthy to do all the time, but I wanted to get some videos out for you. And so that was my goal today. And I want to keep that promise to you that you didn't know that I made. So I get a little goofy when I'm sleepy. Anyway. The wild robot escapes. We left off with where chapter 35 was. So we are going to read chapter 35, and we are going to make it as far as we can get without me yawning obnoxiously. Or I have another point that I'd like to stop at. Okay, chapter 35, The Memories. Roz still dreamed of escaping, of going home, of reuniting with her son, but her dreams were starting to feel impossible. She was losing hope. Was it time for the robot to accept her new life and forget her old one? Forget. Roz was troubled by that word. You see, her computer brain remembered every detail of her life on the island, and it hurt to think she might never make it back there. However, the robot could always forget. She could erase her old memories. It would be like they never happened. The heaviness she now felt would vanish. But without her memories, who would she be? No, Roz wanted to remember her old life, which was good, because someone from her old life was about to appear. Chapter 36, The Unusual Flock. Another flock of geese was approaching the farm, but this flock was unusual. It wasn't flying south like the others, it was flying north in a perfect V formation, and it was led by a young, graceful goose. The flock flew once around the farm buildings, and then they delicately touched down in the barnyard. The leader whispered some words to the others, and then he fluttered in through the barn door. The cows looked up from their stalls as the goose perched himself on a railing near the middle of the barn. Then the goose cleared his throat, shook his tail feathers, and announced to the herd, "I am looking for a robot named Roz. My name is Brightbill, and I am her son." Yay! He's all grown up. Chapter 37, The Reunion. Something was wrong with the cows. Their excited moos echoed out from the barn and across the farm. Roz sent the milk truck away for its evening deliveries and hurried off to see what the ruckus was all about. When she stepped into the barn, she found the entire herd crowded together. As the robot started pushing her way through, the cows turned to her and smiled. And then Roz saw him, her beloved son, Brightbill. As you know, reader, robots don't feel emotions, not the way that animals do, but in that moment, in that barn, nobody had any doubt about how Roz felt. She rushed forward and scooped her son into her arms. "Brightbill," she cried, "is it really you?" No. "It's really me," Brightbill nuzzled his mother's face. "But how did you find me?" said Roz. "Ma, you're famous. You were all anyone could talk about at the wintering grounds. It started with the flocks of geese that stopped here on their migrations. They shared your story with everyone they met. Your story spread from flock to flock, from north to south, from east to west. Eventually, your story made its way to me. I took off as soon as I heard where you were. I didn't even tell the others. But we caught up to him." Loudwing the old goose fluttered over the herd and gently landed on a cow's back. Brightbill wasn't the only one who wanted to see you, Ross. The rest of the flock appeared, and the robot found herself surrounded by old friends and family. Squawking and mooing and laughing and cheering filled the barn. But then came a loud, clear voice that only the robot understood. Roz, what are you doing? The animals hushed. Roz slowly turned around, and there were Jaya and Jad, standing in the doorway. The children had seen everything. Chapter 38, The Truth. Children can be very sneaky, and when Jaya and Jad heard the ruckus coming from the barn, they silently sneaked over to investigate. Now they were staring at a very strange scene indeed. Roz was standing in the middle of the barn, surrounded by the entire herd of cows. For some reason, a flock of geese was there as well, and one of the geese was being cradled in the robot's arms. But what most confused the children were the animal noises Roz had just been making. The thing is, children aren't really just sneaky, they're also really smart. And it didn't take long for Jaya and Jad to make sense of that strange scene. Those stories Roz told us about the robot on the island, said Jad to his sister. They were about her. The goose in Roz's arms, whispered Jaya to her brother. That must be her son. All of Roz's stories came flooding back to the children. The robot, the island, the wild animals, the adventures. Those stories seemed so fanciful. Could they really be true? You are correct, children. Those robot stories are about me, admitted Roz, with a hint of sadness in her voice. There were so many times that I wanted to tell you the truth about my past, but I was afraid the truth would frighten you. The robot motioned to the goose in her arms. This is my son. His name is Brightbill. Reader, there's another important quality that children possess. In addition to being sneaky and smart, they're also compassionate. Children care about others and about the world. And as Jaya and Jad gazed at Roz and Brightbill, their little hearts were full of compassion. Please do not tell your father about me, said Roz. To him, I am just a machine. If he learns the truth, he will send me back to the robot factory, where I will be destroyed. But you must do what you feel is right. My life is in your hands now. The children looked at each other and smiled. Don't worry, Roz, said Jaya. Your secret's safe with us. All right, we will continue the wild robot escapes next time. I need to go to sleep, so I hope you have a great day, and I hope you are safe, and I hope you're in school if you're watching this the day that this comes out. We'll see you next time. Bye.